2 stories you have not heard before from Surah Al-Baqarah. Today, we bring you 2 stories from Surah Al-Baqarah, stories you have most likely not heard before. These stories are not directly mentioned in the surah. We put this fantastic collection together from the Tafsir sessions of QuranGarden. If you are new to the channel, let me give you a quick introduction. Every week since 2013, QuranGarden has been bringing you verse-by-verse English tafsir of the Quran. We recently finished the most in-depth explanation of Surah Al-Baqarah and started Surah Al-Imran. Let us know your favorite story in the comments below, and stay tuned after the last story for a special invitation. Let's get started. This story comes to us from the Tafsir of Ayah 263 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah teaches us to be kind and merciful with others, because He is kind and merciful with humanity. God says, "A kind word and forgiveness is better than a charitable deed followed by harm. God is self-sufficient, forbearing." Chapter 2, verse 263. Our beloved Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was a very generous and hospitable man. It is said that he would not eat dinner unless there was a guest at his table. One day, an exhausted traveler stopped by and asked for some food and a place to rest. Prophet Abraham welcomed him into his home, prepared food, and sat down with his guest to talk. After conversing for a while, he found out that this man was an atheist. An argument started, and Abraham got very angry. "I cannot have you at my table if you deny God. Get out of my home." The tired man picked up his belongings and left. Shortly after, the archangel Gabriel came to Prophet Abraham and said, "God is displeased with you, Abraham. He says to you, 'This man has been a disbeliever for 40 years, and for 40 years I have been patient with him. I gave him food and provisions. How come you could not tolerate him even for one evening at your table?'" Prophet Abraham ran after the man until he caught up with him. "Forgive me, please come back to my table." The traveler asked, "You just kicked me out of your home. Now you want me back? What happened?" Abraham replied, "My Lord scolded me for my inhospitality." The man marveled, "I am a disbeliever in God. You say that you are a prophet of God, yet your Lord scolded you for my sake? Indeed, this is a Lord that deserves to be worshipped. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah." Sanctities and Godlessness. Now we come to the second story. It comes from QuranGarden Tafsir of the events behind Ayah 217 of Surah Al-Baqarah. It will help you understand that not all sins and mistakes are created equal. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to routinely send a small number of fighters to scout enemy positions and movements. Once, the Prophet dispatched a unit of 9 soldiers headed by his cousin, Abdullah al-Asadi. He handed Abdullah a letter and told him not to open it until 2 days into the journey. This was a security measure to assure that no one in Medina, especially the hypocrites, knew where the scouts were headed. After traveling for 2 nights, Abdullah opened the letter. It instructed the group to go to Nakhla, a place between Mecca and Taif, to survey the caravans of Quraysh. The letter also told Abdullah to make the mission voluntary. Each person on the team had the choice to proceed or return to Medina. Everyone wanted to participate. However, early the next day, the camels of Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas and Uqba bin Ghazwan wandered off. So they both stayed behind to look for their camels, leaving only 6 fighters with Abdullah. The 7 men continued to Nakhla. When they arrived, they ran into Amr ibn Hadrami, along with 3 other men guarding the caravan of Quraysh. A skirmish started and turned into a full fight, in which the son of al-Hadrami was killed, and 2 of Quraysh's fighters were captured. The Muslims gathered a few spoils and some goats that belonged to Quraysh. The Muslim fighters thought that it was the last day of the month of Jumada, while, in reality, it was the first day of Rajab, which is a sacred month. When they found out the actual date, they realized that they had killed, captured, and gathered spoils during a holy month. They had inadvertently acted against Islamic teaching. When they arrived back in Medina, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was upset. He refused to take the spoils and the prisoners. The incident exposed the Muslims to the wrath of the Arabs and the Jews of Medina. Quraysh began to spread the word that Muhammad claims to respect sanctities, but in reality his men fought, shed blood, took money, and captured men during the holy month. As the smear campaign against the Muslims escalated, God sent his ruling against the enemies of Islam in the following verse. They ask you about the sacred month and fighting in it. Say, fighting during the month is a great offense, but to bar others from God's path, to disbelieve in him, prevent access to the sacred mosque, and expel its people are far greater offenses in God's eyes. Persecution is worse than killing. They will not stop fighting you until they make you revoke your faith if they can. If any of you revoke your faith and die as disbelievers, your deeds will come to nothing in this world and the hereafter, and you will be inhabitants of the fire, there to remain. Chapter 2, verse 217. From this ayah and the story behind it, we learn that not all sins are created equal. Spreading corruption and preventing people from hearing the message of God is far worse than making a mistake in Islam. Stories are the fun part of understanding the Quran, but the meaning of the Quran goes much deeper than a story. Every week, we dive into the Tafsir of a new ayah, word, and even individual letters of the Quran. Each session runs about 10 minutes. It may not be as exciting as a story, but it is always very rewarding. If you have not been a part of QuranGarden, we invite you to spend just 10 minutes of your day studying the Quran. In a few weeks, you will understand the Quran like never before. To start, check out the links below this video or download the QuranGarden app on your phone. Let us know in the comments below which story you liked the most and share with us your QuranGarden Tafsir journey. Here is what others have said about QuranGarden. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell. Thank you for listening.